This is David Seltzer from AngelsWin.com, speaking today with Angels reporter from Fox Sports West, Jaime Maggio. Jamie, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. You know, fans are really excited that you're doing such a great job and would love to know a little bit more about you. So can you tell us a little bit about where you grew up, how you came to get into journalism and all that?
All right. Well, I grew up in New York. I knew that was coming. I thought if he asks me, I need to be honest. Full disclosure, grew up in New York, grew up a Yankees fan, but I will say my first road trip with the Angels last year was to Yankee Stadium, and I found myself rooting for the Angels, so that's when I knew that I'd actually kind of converted.
Now, I do detect that there's no accent, so you must have moved here at some point, probably a teenager.
I moved here, yes, as a teenager for high school, and I found myself working on the accent, because when you move into a new school at 9th grade, there's a lot of pressure, and people kept saying, say coffee, say hot dog, and
how you doing?
How you doing? I didn't want to talk like that for the rest of my life. So at an early age, I worked on dropping the Long Island accent, and I'm glad that I did because it certainly serves me better in my career.
Now, did you play sports growing up?
I did. I played lacrosse. I was a cheerleader. I played softball, and I was also the announcer for the varsity boys baseball team. So I'd get on the PA system and announce the batters that they would come up.
So we have a long history of knowing baseball, sports, and everything. How'd you get into journalism?
Since 10th grade, I wanted to be a sportscaster. So I studied communications in college, and then after college, I took the first opportunity I could to work for a TV network. It was behind the scenes. I worked for 8 years in production, so I have a lot of experience behind the camera as well. And then I finally got lucky and got into the job that I'm doing today.
Now, if I recall, you went to Santa Barbara?
UCSB, Gauchos, baby.
All right. So, did you continue to play sports there? Or?
Nope, just watched.
Just watched. So, I mean, but you're well-rounded because when you were at KCAL, if I recall, you won you picked him on the NFL for the season in what, 2011?
Oh, my picks on the NFL?
Yeah.
I'm really good at that for whatever reason.
Do you have inside information?
Well, I do. This will be my 5th year doing NFL sideline reporting. I mean, I've paid attention to the NFL since I was 6 years old. And I don't know what that is, if I have a good hunch or what, but I beat Gary Miller, who was my co-anchor at KCAL 9. I beat him in picks. I'm glad you pointed that out. I get to brag a little bit.
Yes, people know about you.
Yeah.
So, okay, what's production like? We always get these questions, like, what do you do in production? So, what happens behind the scenes?
As a sportscaster, or when I was working in production?
In production first, and then we'll get to what you're doing here.
I was doing all kinds of things. My first job in TV, I was driving a minivan, and I was picking up Marv Levy, who was, coached the Buffalo Bills, Boomer Esiason, who was the quarterback of the Jets, Deacon Jones, recently deceased, wonderful, wonderful man, and Jay Moore, the comedian. I would pick those guys up at 5 in the morning and drive them to the set. I'd make sure that they had their coffee and their donuts. And then as time went on, I was booking travel, I was booking guests, I would have booked myself for this blog interview, and I was a production manager, and then sort of slowly started to get into doing the interviews and posting them online. So that was where I got my start, was online, right here.
So how would you advise, because I always get asked this question,
Sure.
How do I get into the industry?
Persistence and a good attitude. I think the biggest thing is being someone who people want to work with, who people enjoy being around, and it's hard work. It took me 8 years to get to where I wanted to be. I mean, like I said, I knew I wanted this gig since I was in 10th grade in high school. So it just took a lot of hard work and a lot of doors closing in your face, and then you just knock on the next one.
So who was your very first interview?
Oh gosh, I don't remember. I really don't remember who my first interview was. Back in the day, I was the production manager for Best Damn Sports Show, which was on Fox Sports Net, and what I started to do was something called the Best Damn Bonus, and it was an interview with the guests that were on the show in the green room while they were waiting, and they ran it online. So I interviewed everybody from President Carter to John Cena to Kurt Warner, Jeremy Roenick, all kinds of performers of every level, whether they were athletes or entertainers, and of course some politicians mixed in too. So it was a good experience.
Who was your toughest interview?
Toughest interview. Gene Simmons from Kiss was extremely inappropriate. And that awkward where you're trying to be nice, you don't want to be rude, but you're just like, I hope this is over quickly.
I can't.
You can imagine.
I
right?
can imagine,
Yeah.
but I can't. I can imagine, but can't relate. But so, who's been your favorite person to interview?
My favorite person. That's a tough question too. There's been more of them are my favorites than not. I feel, especially here with the Angels organization, this is a good group of guys. A really good clubhouse or a good front office, and everything here has been a positive experience. Over the years, my favorite. I interviewed Ray Lewis after his last game at M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore. It was the playoff game. They won, but then they were going on the road to play in Denver, the Broncos, and that was a pretty cool experience because he was such an emotional guy and he's such a good talker that it made it easy for me. That was pretty memorable. That was just this last playoff season.
What would be, if you were to say like the moment where you were there and you saw, what would be the best moment that you've covered or been a part of so far?
You know what? This is funny. You're gonna
And it
laugh.
doesn't have to be baseball, but
The first World Series that I covered, I went to every game. I was doing interviews before and after. I was not doing interviews. It was my first job in television. I was holding the mic for the reporter, and she was doing the interviews. But I was like muscling my way into the scrum to get the mic in the player's face. It was the 2002 World Series.
no way.
And I went to every game here in Angel Stadium and every game up in San Francisco. And as I said, I was a Yankee fan growing up, but during that World Series, I kind of fell in love with the Angels, as did everybody else that was watching, with Frankie Rodriguez and just, you know, the Tim Sand. They just had such a great team, as you remember, because
Oh, of course. I was here
covering this team for a long time too. But I remember I sat in the auxiliary press box, which was out in right field,
Right.
and I was in the very last row, and I had a group of fans behind me with thunder sticks, like a throbbing headache. But I was in the locker room for the champagne celebration after the win, and I smelled like champagne for days. But it was just such an exuberant experience. There was so much energy and excitement, and I thought, man, nothing is better than this.
Since that was your moment, any stories that haven't come out that fans would just die to know?
No, I mean, it's kind of what you see, what they show you on TV. The guys are just, you know, having a blast. I think that that team in particular didn't think that they'd be there, and to beat Barry Bonds and the Giants, it was pretty awesome. So it was just like a lot of raw emotion.
So as a reporter this season, you've done something that I consider rarer than the unassisted triple play. You made Mike Social laugh in a post-game interview. How'd that come about, and how'd that feel, and was that a coup de grace?
It felt pretty good. I think though Soch was laughing more at me than I made him laugh. I think he was kind of making fun of me for my question to him, which was, the difference between the 8-game win streak and that 7-game win streak, and then he said, well, it's one game. But of course, what I meant was like, what the team was doing differently. But Soch had fun with it, and I was really happy to see that, because a lot of people don't realize that Soch is a really cool dude off camera. He's a different guy, but when that TV camera is on him, he's got to be the manager of the Los Angeles Angels, and that's his job. But off camera, he's pretty relaxed and pretty fun to talk to. So I felt like I tapped into that even just briefly.
Are there other players with like similar, like on camera, off camera, where you have more of a rapport in a different way, or that they can be more relaxed?
I think in general, a lot of guys are like that. You know, they've got to put on their game face when the camera's rolling. But actually, I had an interesting conversation with Albert Pujols recently, where he was talking about a family vacation, and he was is it parasailing, where you're attached in and the speedboat goes and you go up in the air, and he did it with his son. And he was telling me the story about how it was crazy and a little scary, but a lot of fun. And I thought, who gets to hear Albert Pujols talk about his family vacation in the off season? And that was kind of a cool moment, because he's one of those guys that, he says everything he's supposed to say when the camera's going. But it was a neat little glimpse into his personal.
From your perspective, what's the story? What are the big stories of the season? I mean, you cover game to game, but what are the big stories?
Big stories. I I think what a lot of people don't see is that this team does have a lot of heart. It's been a little bit of a difficult stretch, but this is a good group of guys. They're obviously a talented group of guys, and I feel like with every game there's progress made, and hopefully it's just not, turning it on too little too late sort of thing.
Well, let's talk about this recent stretch. I mean, what are you seeing differently? They're 7-14 in the last 21, or 14-7, excuse me. I had it backwards. 14-7 out of their last 21. So, what are you seeing differently in the last month?
There's an energy and a confidence there, and it's not just in the dugout; it's in the stands. The crowd is more into it too, which is encouraging and good to see.
Well, let's talk about Angels fans. Why are we the best fans ever? Softball question.
Why are the Angels fans? There's just good fans in baseball. There's good fans in baseball no matter where you go. But this is a good group of people down here in Orange County. They're just pleasant. They're nice people. I don't know what to say. I don't hear there's no fights breaking out. There's no, ridiculous trash talking. They're nice. If I was a fan and I was going to go sit in the stands and watch a game somewhere, I'd want to watch it here.
Now, let's talk about outside of the city. What's a perfect day for you outside of covering sports?
I think I cover sports every single day. I work a lot. But on a perfect day, I like to just kind of relax and have a good meal and a good glass of wine and watch a sunset or take a walk on the beach or something like that. I like to be outside.
I've heard you travel to some exotic places. Where's your favorite place?
I have traveled to some cool spots. I've been to Vietnam, I've been to Bali in Indonesia, I've been to London and Paris and Mexico and Canada, Hong Kong, but my favorite spot, in Costa Rica. Actually, Costa Rica is really cool. Costa Rica is cool. I like to go, when I go on vacation, because I have to have hair and makeup done every day for work, I like to go on vacation and wear flip-flops and linen pants and hair in a ponytail and no makeup. So anywhere I can do that and it's appropriate, that's kind of my favorite vacation. But actually Costa Rica was cool because it's very outdoorsy, and you're seeing all kinds of exotic animals and wildlife and plants and trees and flowers. And that was kind of fun. I went zip lining. I'll never do it again. I'm glad I could say I did it, but it was kind of crazy.
Do you still get recognized while on vacation? And if so, what's it like either here or outside when you are recognized?
I usually get recognized in airports. I spend a fair amount of time in airports, and that's kind of where people see me. Normally, because this is obviously Southern California centric, I usually get recognized from the fantasy football show I do for NFL Network, and it's fun. It's kind of weird to be recognized, and I run through airports usually with my hair in a ponytail and no makeup on, so it's always like, oh, don't look. but it's neat, and like I said, this is kind of a dream come true for me working in this field, so I'm just appreciative of every moment.
What's still left on your bucket list?
Bucket list. I want to travel more, but as far as my career goes, I would say I would like to host a show like Real Sports on HBO. I'm a huge 60 Minutes fan, Sunday night on CBS. So something like that with sports, and they do have 60 Minute Sports now, because I really enjoy getting into the storytelling aspect, which I haven't really tapped into yet in my career, but long form storytelling I think would be optimal.
At AngelsWin.com, we've been doing a little series about the women of baseball and with the team. What advice would you give, especially to a young girl or a woman trying to get into this field? And how would, what have you learned so far?
Well, I would say women need to work harder. Women need to work harder than men, because if you mispronounce a name or if you say a stat wrong or whatever else, you're going to be criticized more than your male counterpart would. That's just the way that it is. Is it still a blessing to work in this field? Absolutely. Would I trade it for anything? No, I would not. But you do have to work hard, and I think you need to carry yourself with dignity and respect, because no one else is going to give you that respect unless you respect yourself. So you need to go out there and own it and know your stuff, do your homework, be prepared, and enjoy it, because it's a lot of fun.
Lastly, what would you like to say to Angels fans everywhere?
Angels fans, we're not at the All-Star break yet, but we're going to get there. We're going to have a good second half just like we did last year, and hopefully we will get to the postseason, because there would be nothing like lighting this stadium up throughout September, October with that postseason run. I could only imagine how exciting that would be, and I sure as heck hope to be a part of that. So get the Rally Monkeys out, think positive, like CJ Wilson says, positive mental attitude, PMA. So come out and support the Angels. Bring it. Let's go.
Well, on behalf of everyone at angelswin.com, thank you so much for your time today. We love the job you're doing, and keep up the good work.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.